How about you say we're back?
Come on in. I'm about to be on the air, man.
We're back.
Listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Hello, boys.
We're back, guys.
Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sportz Nutz, episode 110. Oh, man, it's so good to be back. We have a great slate of episodes this week, actually. We will be live tonight, tomorrow, and Friday. Yes, we have a great show lineup for us tonight, but tomorrow we actually have a guest. He covers a lot of OKC sports, more specifically with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Calvin Alexander will be joining us. Cannot wait to talk to him. We're going to have a full-on show tomorrow as well. And then Friday, Shane, who do we have coming on Friday, sir?
Oh, man. We have the undefeated NAIA national champion, Louisiana State University Shreveport, coming on. Mr. Head coach himself, Mr. Brad Neffendorf, will be on with us. Man, I look forward to it. You know me, a baseball guy. It's a feat that's never happened before a true undefeated season. And as of right now, they have the longest active winning streak in college baseball in any division.
That's right. And we have been granted precedented access to them. Cannot wait to get it going. Guys, we hope y'all had a fantastic weekend. I know I had a good weekend getting to spend time with the girls and cleaning up house and just in general, just spending time with the family. But my gentleman's sitting right below me. He's been a busy bee. The weather did affect his location. Yes, there were some pretty hefty storms in the metro Atlanta area. Matt, how's it going, man? Unmute your mic. There you go. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, fellas? I'm doing all right, man. I'm just celebrating Father's Day early, man. Me and my daughter have been joined at the hip all week so far for the last 8 days. So, we getting our Father's Day out the way early.
Absolutely. My gentleman's sitting, I'm going to get this right one day. My gentleman's sitting right here, caddy corner. Shane Owen, how's it going, man?
Man, doing good. Can't complain. Can't complain one bit. Just ready for the next exciting sports news. Got a cousin's golf trip coming up this Saturday. So went out and bought a few too many balls.
You never have enough golf balls. What are you talking about?
Well, up here in the mountains, I've never played the course, so we'll see.
Absolutely. We'll see how it goes. My man sitting right next to me, Hank Russell, man. Welcome, brother. How you been?
I've been busy. I mean, I'm extremely busy. I mean, I don't, it's been nothing but craziness ever since Millions hired me on. And I'm telling you, man, but I almost didn't make it to the show on time tonight because I had to go buy some X-ray vision goggles because Angel Reese is about to break the offensive rebound record, and I need to be able to see through all them bricks. So,
oh my God. I'm so glad you said that, Hank, because I got a whole segment designated just for you tonight. Yes, we're going to keep it G-rated, folks, but it's pretty good. Let's see, guys. Let's just give a quick shout out to everybody who's watching. We'll get your popcorn ready. Got some good episodes tonight. A judge has granted an absolutely ridiculous ruling allowing universities to directly pay their student athletes. Also in the strange turn of events, y'all. Student athletes can also collect NIL funds. So it's basically a double dip. Who does that favor really? Big Ten, SEC. We'll talk a little bit about that. Shane, the OTAs, they are here. They're in full swing. Some surprises, some not so big surprises. We actually just talked, you and me, before the show came on, about the Carolina Panthers. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, and a whole lot more. Then we come to Hank's favorite topic. Angel Reese, she is back at it again, claiming more racism calls, even though it's been proven time and time again it didn't really happen. Why can't she just put the phone down and focus on her game? Hank is going to dive into that. Matt's going to dive. Shane, myself, we're all going to go.
For the record, she can still get it though.
Hey, and then also there's a new nickname for her, and they're called Me Bounds. We'll talk a little about that. Guys, the numbers are in the Women's College World Series attendance numbers, and they are flat out amazing. I'm going to share that with you. I also know the Nielsen numbers have come out. Guys, this just proves that ladies sports is where it is meant to be right now. And then, guys, I have a really couple of good questions for you. Who is the best sports anchor to call games? You know, we have so many out there. Mike Breen, Matt, and his bang. We want to hear your thoughts on who is the best one out there. And now, guys, this one painstaking me as well. We know they're what a lot of people are going to say, but I want to hear from you. What sports moments that they ended the way you didn't want to? What lives in your head rent-free forever? It can be more than one. Matt and I know. Look, Matt's already shaking his head right now. That and a whole lot more. Yes, we are close to our training days with the Sportz Nutz. We're going to talk about that as well. Shane's going to get the rundown going for that one. But first, I want to start with Hank's favorite topic. Angel Reese and the claim of racism, and also the me-bound situation. I'm not even going to call them rebounds. The me-bound situation. By the way, there is a video that just came out, and I crack up at this, literally. It was a question of who was your celebrity lookalike. They asked this to Angel Reese. Guys, did you see her response?
No. Who did she say she looked like?
Megan Thee Stallion. And then, but the number one response, the absolute number one response is Sid the Sloth.
Yes.
And this girl knows how to burn your brownies and just get in your skin. But Hank, you just literally sat there and said what you said about the X-ray goggles, and it's getting kind of comical with the me-bound situation. But Hank, do you think this girl knows when to shut up and put up the game? Like, she needs to put the phone down and really play. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to understand one thing, that her generation or age group, however you want to put it, knows that, it's good to get attention. I mean, let's keep it 100. Who knew where was she drafted when she was drafted with Angel Reese? I mean, with Caitlin Clark.
She was the second overall pick, right?
Was she not?
No,
she was like 7th.
She was still pretty high in the
WNBA.
But here's what I'm saying though. Clearly, she would be an above average role player, if she hadn't have done what she did with the shoulder tackle last year and all these antics, which, I think she looks pretty decent. I mean, ratchet women sometimes do it for me, but the thing about it is that, I think she knows how to play the game. She's got more followers on Instagram than Caitlin Clark and has the most in the NBA or in the WNBA in general. So I think that a lot of the antics are to get the attraction and stuff like that, because for somebody who only makes $75,000 a year in the league, she's living like she's making like $2 million a year, and it's probably based upon sponsorships and all kinds of like freebies and things like that. So
yeah, I mean, I'm loving these amount of videos, and the newest one that's out, because Angel Reese has the deal with the Reese's peanut butter cups, the cereal, and people are they're getting this. There's a video out there, people getting the box and throwing it to their shopping cart, and it bricks. They pick it up and they throw it and it bricks again. And they go, oh, that's why. It's Angel Reese's cereal. And then there's also the one that runs around with, man, I'm going to go buy me the Angel Reese meal at McDonald's, and they take it home, open it up, and it's a bunch of bricks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's continuing to add up and add up.
Right.
And, you know, I think she needs to honestly just stop this nonstop dumb talk that she's the greatest athlete and that people are coming to watch her, not just Caitlin Clark. I mean, guys, we know, and if you guys don't know, you've been living under a rock. The WNBA numbers for attendance, ticket price wise, actually have gone significantly down right now because of Caitlin Clark, her injury. And just most notably and recently, the Chicago Sky played at United Center, and the tickets were as low as $3. Before Caitlin Clark's injury, though, they were over 150 and up. So she's definitely made a significant impact to the game with Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese, however, she's doing it for all the wrong reasons. And, you know, I get so frustrated hearing the blah, blah, blah come in, and you're not backing up your stuff. You know, and man, I even asked you this recently. What did she really do to work on her game this offseason? I mean, she worked really hard on getting her podcast and her McDonald's and whatever else out there, but she has not improved her game. And I don't know, you know, I know that she's leading the charge in the me-bound situation. But you know, that's not enough to sit there and say she is legitimately a solid contributor to her team. Am I right, Matt?
Well, I will say this. She did what she's supposed to do. Even the LSU, she wasn't relied on the score and things of that nature. And I have to give her credit, man. I have to give her credit. No matter how putrid the offense can be and the shooting percentages are, she is an elite rebounder. An elite rebounder. Let me say it again. She is an elite rebounder. And she's found her niche in this league. And she's found the thing that's going to help her stay in this league for 10 plus years. And she also found her contract negotiating. That's what, when she negotiates her next max contract or max deal, that's what she's going to have on her resume. The greatest rebounder, possibly, to be honest with you guys, probably the greatest rebounder we've seen in the WNBA already, and just her second year. So that's her niche. That's what she's going to go with. Elite rebounder. Think of Dennis Rodman. That's what you need to think of. Think of Dennis Rodman. Rebound and play defense. That's all you need to think of. Whoa. I said think of Dennis Rodman.
We're not going to compare Dennis Rodman.
I get where Matt's coming from. You know, Dennis was more of a calculated rebounder than Angel Reese, but Angel Reese is getting rebounds because they're
she
there.
7 out of 5 of the 7 shots she takes.
Hey. I mean, what can you do? They still count,
right? I mean,
free
Zach
throws
Brand
count as points too.
They do. And I'm not going to take away from the numbers, you know, but I can't take away from the numbers.
Exactly. Now, as far as getting her game better and things like that, has she been in the gym? Hey, man, who are we? We're not there. Does it look like she's been in the gym from an offensive standpoint? Absolutely not.
No, she's
but from a rebound and timing perspective point, and it does look like she's been heavy on the drills as far as rebounding drills, because if you compare from her first year to second year, and you look at the video and look at the tape, she is boxing down a lot better. She is putting herself in position to get rebounds. Nobody knows where a ball is going to go better than the person who misses the shot. So, boom, you got that there. Now, as far as the antics, the off-court antics and things like that, look, man, not Shane, but Hank said it best. You know, you got to keep your name relevant. You keep your name relevant. That's how you get likes. That's how you get views. Rather, hey, look, any press is better than bad press. Thumbs up or thumbs down on a YouTube post, it doesn't matter. If somebody viewed it, regardless. So that's kind of what she's looking at. I can't fault her for it, but what I will say is, hey, man, look, what I will say is she's found her niche of rebounding, and that's what she's going to rock with. More power to her, but hey, if the good comes.
This is the comment right here. I think Angel Reese would do herself a favor if she ate some humble pie. She needs to quit comparing herself to Caitlin Clark and focus on her shooting skills. Amen to that one, Trey. That is absolutely I'm so glad that you said that. Obviously, the WNBA it's growing rapidly and it's growing the right direction. It's fast, and I'm so pleased that it's doing that. But Angel Reese, do it for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. And I understand Matt sitting there saying, think of it like a Dennis Rodman. Rodman was meticulous with his thought process. He knew how to get under anybody and everybody's skin. He was so good at that. He was one of those guys that you absolutely loved to hate, time and time again.
But he learned that stuff about 8-9 years in. He
That's
didn't.
true.
He
He did.
didn't come into the league with that. He came into the league as a raw talent, a very raw talent. As he learned the game and got older, then he became Dennis the Menace, a nuisance.
He knew how to manipulate the system in his favor.
I know Shane hasn't had a chance to speak yet. Shane, do you have anything to say before I give us another assessment about something?
Oh yeah. I've got.
Go ahead.
I've got a few things to say. I'm kind of along the same way with Matt. I mean, she is a scrappy, raw, defensive rebounding, power forward, center, however you want to look at her. In their lineup, she's more of a power forward because they've got the rookie from South Carolina there. But I mean, you've got to have a competitive will to be going up that many times against this level of competition, as we're talking about, how the WNBA has grown talent wise with the, even the past 3 incoming classes that we've seen. So, we see that. And, eventually I think Angel Reese is going to get to the point to where, some of the shots that she is putting up, she'll stop, make a move and stuff like that. But of course, this is still only her second year in the league. As far as the off court stuff, hey, you said it keeps her name relevant. The comment with the Caitlin Clark, I mean, we see it, but we still can't, put the product that she's put on the floor kind of against her personality and the way that we've seen it. I mean, we saw Baker Mayfield come out of Oklahoma being a complete mess. Johnny Football, these kind of people kind of remind me of kind of the off-field antics and the publicity that they get because of some of the stuff that they say.
Yeah.
And I could see Angel Reese. I haven't met her personally. Love to meet her. Hey, we'd love to have you on the show. But I could see somebody saying that very sarcastically in certain situations. But I do see that, and especially with what Brandon said, a lot of people tune off to it when it comes from the women's side of thing, especially when it gets very competitive and kind of hostile towards each other because we're just not used to the traditional role of the female being a competitor, the way we've seen women's athletes grow, which we'll cover with softball here in a few. But congrats on the WNBA for having somebody just like the 4 of us, just kind of small. Here we are. We're sitting there talking about it for a good 15 minutes now. So absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things.
It's drawing the right way for them.
Yep, that they need in the game, and I'm glad that it's gone towards the Angel Reese away from Brittany Griner. I don't know if y'all saw the comments that she made where where the WNBA, it used to be a quiet place where you could bring your laptop and get some work done. And, what do they expect from us? They're hooping and hollering and stuff like that. What do they expect us to do? Are we there for their entertainment? We've seen the negative publicity and the publicity kind of shift towards Angel Reese away from this. So I think all in all, it's good for the WNBA. But Angel Reese needs to get working on that offense. But hey, keep it up because she is number 1 viral athlete right now in the world.
And I'm gonna say something that, whatever, take it for what you want. But the thing about it is that all right, she doesn't. Here's the thing about it, like most fans and stuff like that. We're all working class. Matt is working class. Shane is working class. I'm working class. Brandon is working class. When you behave unhumbly like that, it doesn't bring a lot of confidence to the majority of this country, which is working class. You're braggadocious. You're humble, you're bratty, you're pretty much everything, you're pretty much everything that doesn't, signify what this country is about. And that's all of us who get up at a job every day that we don't always like. And we have, our moments and stuff like that. We go to work and we hope that we survive the next day or pay our bills and stuff like that. And with the personality of somebody like that, it says, I didn't come from, a working class background. It says that I came from a background where I'm just there to make money, get attention, and do whatever I can without the right type of integrity and stuff like that. And I know that's a very harsh thing to say, but that's why, wide receivers
portray herself to be that way too, though. You're right.
I mean, let's face it. That's why wide receivers get a bad rap. They brag, they wear chains, they're flamboyant, they're all these things that, they're all these things that, really just don't, it doesn't appeal to the everyday person. So that's why you've heard me on this show be hard on like hip hop artists. Same thing. I'm bragging. I'm getting all the women. I'm all that stuff. Only person I know that can get away with that is Ric Flair, baby.
Woo! Woo!
and I know that's a harsh thing to say, and you can take it for what it is. But that's the thing about it. We love our athletes. We don't have a problem with success, but we want to feel like it's being earned and that you did it with integrity and humility. Okay. And nobody wants to say that because they're afraid they're going to be labeled racist. It's like the Magic versus Bird situation. Bird represented the working class, and Magic represented being in LA, the flamboyant, flashy, all this stuff. And it always turns into a race thing. No, it's a not a culture thing, but it's a perception. A relatable thing.
Exactly. I like what you're saying on that one. Absolutely, hands down correct. Let's move on to the next topic, guys. This one is really going to strike a chord with a lot of people. I want to hear your thoughts on this too. A judge ruled in favor of allowing universities to directly pay their student athletes in the sum of a settlement of $2.8 billion. This paves the corner now for not only to the student athletes to get paid from the universities, which basically puts them as employees, but now they still can double dip and collect their NIL funds. So theoretically, you could have Johnny A and Johnny B. Johnny A is the all-star quarterback for whomever, and he is signing a $20 million NIL deal to play at, say, Kansas State. And then you got Johnny B, who is getting paid, $10 million from the university, but he signs $25 million from this car dealership. So now you have players who are going to make lucrative amounts of money, and they haven't even stepped a foot on the court or the field even. And this is absolutely insane. There was an article that was put out today, actually, on ESPN.
And Magic rep, the hard work.
I'm gonna summarize this. Hank, mute your mic, buddy. There we go, muted him. All right, so here I'm gonna summarize it. Okay, the settlement, as quoted with Pat McAfee today, helps NCAA stabilize and avoid the bankruptcy word. I don't buy that. I really don't buy that kind of stuff. Matt, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? Because I mean, who does it favor more? Does it favor? I mean, obviously, we kind of know the world of college football revolves around the SEC and Big Ten. We've known that for, gosh, I don't know how long, and it's only getting more prevalent. And then you can throw an argument in there once in a while for Big 12, but what conference does this and what does this say favor the most?
Good googly moogly.
No, it definitely favors conferences like the SEC, man, and all the big schools. For example, this is going to favor like Texas, especially with that Arch Manning there, UGA, Alabama. It's going to favor the big schools because the big schools have more money to give. They sign the more lucrative deals. That's just how it is. It's gonna favor the big schools, but that's what they want. They want the big schools to be favored. Man. So
what does a school like Boise State do? I mean, look, Boise State is still, even though they're joining the Pac-12 2.0 next year, they're still considered a mid-major. What does something like this do for like a Boise State even?
It makes sure they never beat a team like Alabama.
And that's so wrong. Little Johns have the absolute right to play big boys. And time again, we have seen little schools where I'm going to bring in the 2008 Fiesta Bowl with Boise State and Oklahoma. Statue of Liberty play happened. They handled their business. They were severe underdogs, and they came back and they won.
That's true. But look at it from the recruit's perspective. You're you're the top tight end prospect coming out. You had already committed to, let's say, University of Hawaii. Let's just say that. You're committed. You're good to go. Next thing you know, you got you got Ohio State, or you got UGA, offering you a $15 million check to come and switch schools. Plus, you get an NIL deal, which is good. So you're going to get about $30 million just to go to that school. Are you staying in Hawaii, Brandon?
That's debatable, actually, because now look, and the reason why I say it's debatable, you can put 10 athletes in a line, 8 of them will go. You will have you do have to do that. 20%. That 20% will stay because you're playing in a place that is undoubtedly the most amazing and paradise world. People have compared the state of Hawaii to a Forrest Gump reference of heaven and earth. You can't tell where heaven stops and earth begins.
But Brandon,
it's beautiful.
You have to take into account that you might not even see 30 million in the NFL. You have to take
that
into account.
That is true. Yes, I'm going that too.
And you have to take into account. You have to take into account your future family that you're going to have with your kids and your wife and your mother and your father. And
but let's also not put into the negative perspective that mid majors, they absolutely can outdo big schools. I mean, let's look at Tulane. Look what Tulane did.
Well,
for 3 of the last 5 years.
Well, that's not.
They hung with every big boy imaginable. They upset a perennial powerhouse at the time. In that, they're still a perennial powerhouse, but they upset them in a about to say a BCS bowl, but in a CFP playoff bowl, a New Orleans 6. I mean, a New Year's 6. They did that. They hang consistently. Mid-major schools, they deserve the rights just like a USC, Ohio State. I mean, heck, I'm even going to say this, Notre Dame. I mean, we know Notre Dame is, money to the ceiling and then some, but every school deserves an opportunity. And this strikes a chord because, Shane's going to talk about this in a minute, though, too. A school, Murray State, has the absolute worst facilities in the entire collegiate athletic world. It has been proven. They are number 368 out of 368 with their facilities, their everything. Their baseball field, guys, was built in the 90s, and it looks every bit of the 90s. It is a rundown 800-seat dump. It looks like a high school facility. It really does. But but look what they're doing, guys. Look what Mercy did.
So here's another thing. I'm going to tie into this NCAA ruling. This is just when it comes to the NCAA. So you're going to see not necessarily the football powerhouses feel this problem because now what this is opening the door to is ESPN and Dr. Pepper and Allstate and all these ones that have these college football playoff games. And we see it expanding. So these other smaller schools that have better teams and stuff, we're going to see these guys get rewarded with the share of the money that now the college football playoff, instead of us looking at it like these people are making $2 billion, these 12 people sitting on this board are making $12 billion to pick who they think's the best in the country. Now it's actually making sure that the schools try to put that product on the field. And I can tell you this, it's been happening. But you are going to see some disparity. And once you start getting into, all this money, it depends on the type of kid you are. Are you going to go sit the bench for $15 million
I do it,
just because you want the money? Or would you want to go to go to a school that's going to pay you $5 million to play?
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm going to go to you, Hank, on this one, okay? Do they get W-2s? Because now you're getting paid from a university. You're classified as an employee at this time. Do they get a W-2 or do they get a 1099? What do they get? Hank?
Is that for me?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, yeah, absolutely. No, I think so. I mean, I catch a lot of flack for this because I don't believe that college athletes should get paid for the majority of the time. But look, it's here. It's whatever, I mean, it is here. That being said, now that it's here, absolutely. No, they should definitely get W-2s for that. If you're going to treat this thing like a business and you're going to be contracted out like it's a business, then you might as well, learn, you might as well give your due to Uncle Sam,
Yeah. Well, Bill Belichick is even bringing on somebody as a staffer down in North Carolina because of this NIL stuff. Even before this ruling, he was bringing them down to be, kind of professionalize these players and stuff with it's a career now.
Right. And that's what I hate about college sports. Like, I'm not saying I don't hate college sports, but this is one of the things I hate about college sports is that it's, sports and activities are, if you're on scholarship for something that has nothing to do with your degree, it is considered an extracurricular sport. And somehow we have turned this into a business. And I realize life is not fair. I mean, I have to keep telling myself all the time, life is not fair, and I cannot stand that money is coming into play for these teams now. And everybody thought it was going to even out. But no, it hasn't even out at all. I mean, Alabama. I mean, I think the strong just got stronger. That's what I think.
Look at this. Trey just. I was so about to say this too. You now have college athletes turning this into career-long events. Cam Rising is an example. Who was that tight end that was at Miami, played like 10 years in collegiate sports? Like that.
Do that?
I didn't know you could. But obviously he was affiliated. He was affected by the COVID or the
injury
year and injuries. Absolutely played a role. However, you shouldn't get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, however, umpteen years.
I think Cam had 9.
Yeah, there's something going on there with, obviously, there's more to you than for the money than it is for your degree. I mean, my gosh, if you're gone 9 years in college, it's 4 years. That's your bachelor's, 4 years. That's your master's, a year in your doctorate level. That's literally how it should kind of run out. I mean, it doesn't always go that way. I understand that 100%, but
you're only 1 year shy of being an orthodontist.
Exactly. You there's just this is absolutely insane. Look, I'm okay with college athletes being paid. I'm okay with it to a degree. What? Shane, Matt, and Hank we've all had this debate countless of times. And Shane gave a really good argument about this a while back that you should, if you are getting NIL collective funds, put it towards your rooming, your housing, your boarding, your books, everything. And at the end, when you graduate, say you graduate top of the line or whatever, you graduate in general, right? Then whatever is left over for your NIL funds, you can get that at the end to start your life. Heck, you could literally be starting the corporate world of America. Sorry, my cat's meowing. And corporate world, and you are given debt. You're debt free. Name one person who would love to be debt free. Not be debt free, and they would love to have college debt. Ain't nobody gonna raise their hands.
Yeah. Because as a normal everyday person, you come out of school with debt normally. Yep. So I mean, in that sense, I mean, and I think it's good for them because, look, we're talking about, we talk about the mid majors and the bigger schools and conferences, kind of having this tilt the scale in one or the other's favor. Well, that's what we did whenever we brought up the NIL ruling in the first place. Was we brought the big corporations and these conferences that were making all these monies off of the players, and now we're giving it back to the players. Now it's gotten kind of, now the NCAA is kind of they're like, okay, well, if we want to handle it like a business, then we're going to handle it like a business. The corporations that were making money off of them to begin with, y'all can dole out the money.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know it strikes the chord with me, and I'm pretty sure it strikes a chord with other people. Let us know what you think. We're going to move on to another topic. I want you guys to tell us what your thoughts are. Thank you to those who have commented, obviously. I'm going to start the next one, guys. This topic is really near and dear to me, obviously, and Matt as well. We're girl dads. The numbers, they are in, guys. The Women's College World Series attendance numbers, they're outstanding. You guys ready to hear this number? For the entire run, from like the first game to the last game of the championship series, 120,000 people in attendance for the entire World Series. That's insane, right? To put it in perspective, last year was 87. The year Oklahoma, rebounded and became like a show that they were the perennial powers before the four-peat happened, was 91,000 total. So this is significant. Well, the Nielsen numbers, they're also out for television ratings. And this is telling me women's sports is in the right direction. For the entire Women's College World Series, the views jumped by nearly 31.2% overall. That is an alarming number. I think it calculates total viewership to I think it's 31 million or something like that. It's insane. That just goes to show women's sports is there. So I'm going to start with you, Hank. Give a quick 2 or 3 minute response on that one with regards to women's sports. Brian, how's it going, buddy?
I mean, once again, brick by brick, my citizens. Angel Reese, but no, I'll just say, look, I am so happy. I really am. This is, Matt didn't get to speak during the last segment, so I'm gonna keep it short. And I'm just gonna say, man, I am so proud and glad to hear this. The two sports that have only thrived for women's sports, to the best of my knowledge, have been, at least in this country, have been, gymnastics and tennis, and some soccer players, but soccer's but
that's a growing sport, though. Absolutely, it's growing.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that so I am so happy for them, and I'm gonna leave it at that because I noticed Matt didn't get to speak during the last segment. So,
all right, Matt. So I'm gonna go right to you. What does this say to you, knowing that a 31% viewership increase happened for women's college World Series? I mean, women's sports in general is fantastic, but what does this say to you?
That the powers that be are kind of doing their just due to the sport, and they're making sure it gets, marketed correctly, making sure it gets, the proper, syndication, making sure it's on the proper networks, making sure it's, people are talking about it, making sure social media is talking about it. I think a lot more players are tapped in now due to social media as well. A lot more players are tapped in. They're telling everybody, check us out. We're going to do this, Same thing with these college teams, man. I mean, I look at it like, I know it's weird. I know it's a weird comparison, but look at the fast food restaurants and their social media websites, man. Social media, like Wendy's Twitter. Wendy's Twitter is freaking ridiculous, it's crazy. But they're learning how to market themselves, market their teams, and promote themselves, and promote the sports that they have. And women's sports is one of them, man. Women's softball, women's basketball, women's, it's just, they're getting crazy amount of media coverage now.
Well
and
said.
It makes everybody happy. And I got to quickly shout out to Athletes Unlimited Softball League, the professional softball league. Every game right now, folks, in case you haven't noticed, they're sold out. Every game is sold out. And the vast majority of those games only have standing room only. And I think these stadiums can hold between 7,500 and 10,000. That is very impressive. They play a gauntlet of a schedule to start. I'm excited to see how it's going. But, Shane, go to you on this one. I want to know your thoughts, knowing that, first off, is women's sports heading in the right direction?
Well, as we see, people talk about it more and more. It used to be, especially when the women's soccer they were winning World Cups and gold medals left and right. We kind of talked about that, and then as Hank mentioned, the tennis, we kind of talked about the tennis. The Serenas, the Venuses, and stuff like that. Now we've got Coco.
She can get it too.
But I think what we're seeing is the more exposure, as Matt said. That social media platforms have definitely given everybody. I know during the postseason there for the softball, especially, you couldn't go on TikTok without scrolling down 5 or 10 and seeing some sort of softball team you see the social media for these college athletes has gotten, now that they're able to get paid for it by name and image and likeness rulings, they're able to go out there and do these things. Before, you couldn't do that. So, as this transitions to more and more prevalent, we're going to see more and more of the women's game. It's good because, honestly, I'd much rather sit down and watch a 7 in the softball game in college sports than a 9 in the baseball game. But it's just more exciting, and the product that they put out there, especially at the college level right now, the competitiveness across the whole field. This World Series was probably the most competitive field we've seen from 1 to 8, probably since the Jenny Finch era.
Oh my God!
And stuff like that.
I was literally about to say that. Nail on the head.
So the product that we're seeing on the field is a product of the ratings and the likeness that they're getting off the field.
I like what you guys are saying. Absolutely. Shout out, though, seriously, to all women's college sports. And women's professional sports. We're about to literally next year, y'all, the women's professional baseball league starts. It absolutely is going to take off. And our good buddy John at the Pitch Good podcast, he has alluded to this many times. National women's soccer league, professional soccer league, it's taking off. By the way, for those who don't know this, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Peyton Manning. He is minority principal owner now, 60% owner of the Denver National Women's Professional Soccer League. He is an owner on it. Congratulations to him. That just goes to show professional athletes legit are showing rather important interest. Guy here, Brian Pettit, thanks for joining. I think it's a great thing, but college sports is changing. That is true. College sports is changing every day. My sister played on a travel softball team in the 90s. Hey, softball is, I'm a girl dad times 4. My oldest plays softball, and Holden plays softball. And it really is becoming an amazing adventure. I'm so glad to see, my girls taking an absolute love and interest to it. And I can't be any happier with that one. So, Matt, this next question is going to be for you, but it's also going to be for everybody. Look, we have an abundance of people watching tonight. I want to hear your thoughts. Matt, I'm going to start with you. It can be more than one. It absolutely can be more than one, okay? Who is the best sports anchor to call any game? There are so many out there. Like I said, the most notable one for ESPN is Mike Bream. Why? Bang, bang. That's the signature from him. But Matt, I'm going to start with you. Who is, in your mind, the best sports person to call any game? Any game.
Oh man. You definitely got to go with Mike Breen. Like I said, with his signature, the bangs, like the Curry from half court over OKC a few years back. Man, a lot of legendary calls. So many, right? A lot of legendary calls out there, man. I like Hugh B. Brown. I think he's great at dissecting the game when they're playing, teams are playing. But those guys like Jeff Van Gundy.
Even Stan Van Gundy, right? Too. The Van Gundys know how to do it.
Stan Van Gundy's right now. I'm just talking basketball right now. I haven't even gotten to football.
Stan Van Gundy is Is he still with ESPN?
I believe he is. I believe he. I think it was with TNT, but now it might be ESPN. Yeah, he's good. I mean, even then, now you got the newcomers. Like even in football, you got newcomers, man. You got you know, Romo was a hot thing for a while. You got Brady now, man. I think all sports are, or the major sports are in a good place right now as far as commentary. But right now, Mike Breen is my guy.
All right, so now I'm going to switch to you, Shane. I want you to name so you can name anybody. It can be more than one, okay? Your best sports anchor call, sports caller to call any game. It can be any game. The most notable one is Mike Breen with his bangs. Who do you think?
Oh yeah, well, I took it that same direction. I couldn't just think of one. I had to think of the sports themselves. So, like in baseball, man, Vin Scully for the Dodgers, and then Harry Carey there for the Cubs. Those were, they had some iconic calls, and just kind of nostalgia. They stuck with the teams for years and years and years. So, those are kind of my most memorable baseball kind of announcers. When it comes to football, especially the NFL, man, Pat Summerall, just his voice and the way he handled the coverage was great. And then of course everybody loves whoop whoop. Chris. Chris Berman. On Monday Night Countdown was probably one of the greatest kind of sports personalities and anchors that we've had. Man, college football. Gus Johnson is by far one of the best play callers. If you go back, I believe it was the punt return for Christian McCaffrey in the Rose Bowl that he covered. That was a memorable call that he had. And then, of course, I got a couple of honorable mentions since we're talking about the Rose Bowl and all. We've got Brent Musburger. Always used to call the national championship games and stuff like that. Was a great voice that we heard. Of course, one of my favorites, Bob Uecker. Just a bit outside. But then also kind of the most kind of memorable one that I can think of is Jim Nantz and the Masters and how they do. Yes, a tradition like any other. Oh
my God, that's great ones you named there, man.
So those are kind of the ones that stuck out to me, and I needed to kind of put out there for sure.
Look, Brian Pettit just said Vern Lundquist.
Yeah, Vern Lundquist. You got Marv Albert.
Marv Albert. All right, so let me ask you, and Hank, then I'll go to you.
Okay.
Who was the guy that used to call Derek Jeter, the captain? Who was he? Can you guys tell me his name, please? And people who are watching, let us know in the stream. I can't remember. That was one of my absolute favorite. Now batting number 2, the captain, Derek Jeter. That was like signature. And look, Matt, I'm not a Northerner. Don't make fun of my voice. I'm not a Northerner. But then, he was fantastic. But also, you just hit the nail on the head, Shane. What? That was my favorite. Chris Berman is. And by the way, shout out to him. He is now going to be he signed for another 3 years, I believe, with ESPN. Shout out to him, Chris Berman is.
I love when he does the home run derby. Back.
Absolutely, it's so good. And then you hit the nail with the Carey family. We had a Carey call for the Atlanta Braves for a long time. Skip Carey. There's so many out there, but let's see. He just passed away with ESPN. He did great calling, college football games. But I think Kirk Herbstreit's a really good caller for the sporting world. I absolutely enjoy him, and I know it's gonna be funny to say this, but Doris Burke, she puts that little touch to it. She has that touch that can make sports fun to listen to, And then also, John from Pitch Grid Podcast said, "Can we shout out Kevin Harlan?" Look, that's true. How many of you guys did you forget Kevin Harlan is a multi-sport? Who is the guy
between the eyes?
Yeah, well, all right. So
was that Marv Albert or Kevin Harlan?
That was Marv Albert.
Oh, okay.
So the guy who calls Kenny Albert. Kenny Albert. He's called so much, and now he's calling for NHL. Gosh, the best. All right, so I'm going to go to you, Hank. Give me your best one.
Dickie V, baby. I gotta go with Dickie V, man. All three of you and everybody here has named some really good ones, but I mean, nobody named Dickie V. I love Dickie V. He's great. But then you've also got, Chick Hearn, for the LA Lakers.
I like that.
I forget what's his name that sounds like this, that was a commentator for the Celtics in the 80s and 70s. He had that real raspy voice.
Oh my God, Bill Walton. Why did we not mention Bill Walton either? Bill Walton was a great one.
Bill was that good of a commentator.
He was.
He was all right. God rest his soul, of course.
Yeah,
but
Bill Walton is still a legend.
Yeah, he's still a legend. No, he was great. No, Bill was a little bit spacey and a little bit out there
but that's what made him stand out, though.
I get it. And you got to remember, I went to school for broadcasting, so I'm a little bit biased towards, certain things that you're not supposed to do. And chewing gum on camera is a little bit one of those things.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I see that all the time.
But then, like I said, Chick Hearn's a good one. Tim McCarver for the St. Louis Cardinals. I think, in my opinion, is a little biased about that one because he's from Memphis, Tennessee.
Harry Carey.
So if the moon was made out of ribs, would you eat it? But what if it was made out of barbecue spare ribs?
Gosh, there's so many good out there.
Also, I mean, John Madden. Why didn't nobody mention John Madden?
John Madden literally is like the.
I love
Napkins. I remember him by.
Yeah, I love.
Here's an obvious answer. Okay, now you have John Madden here that didn't know half the names of the moves, but was the best analyst when it comes to positioning people in the field.
If he's gonna run right and he's gonna make the hit, I mean, God, I remember so. Oh my God, Howard Cosell.
Howard Cosell.
Oh my gosh.
This
is such a great time.
I tell you, when he was doing special guest commentary in the 80s
in
pro wrestling,
John Madden.
I tell you, Muhammad Ali got smacked hard by Joe Frazier, and Joe Frazier went banana.
Yep.
No S, just banana.
Yep. John. All right. So look, John did. So John said, Mitch Holthus, Summerall. Pat Summerall and John Madden. Yes, he did say that. All right, so let's go to the next one, okay? This one is a really good one that I want to talk, and then we're going to go to Shane's OTA, and he's going to kind of give us a quick rundown of what to expect coming up. Obviously, we know what a lot of people are going to say. And this, Matt, I know this is going to hurt your feelings too, because I guarantee you that the chat's going to light up with this comment. But what sports moments do you remember that didn't end the way you wanted to, that they live in your head rent free? Obviously, God, the most notable one for us Atlanta Falcons is 28-3 nonsense crap. Look, Matt's skipping out because he don't want to talk about it. That one lives in my head. Unfortunately, God,
let it go, Matt.
No, I'm never letting this go. I told my buddy John, I said, had Atlanta won the World Series, the Super Bowl in 2012 with Tony Gonzalez, and 2016, what really could have been.
Do we really got to talk about this?
Yes, we got to talk about this. So, Matt, I know I know what's sitting in your mind, but Hank, give me one that, a sports memory that sticks out in your mind that ended the way you wish it hadn't.
That ended the way it wished it hadn't?
That you wish it had never. And like example, the Falcons blowing the Super Bowl. The way it ended for us, it broke our hearts unconditionally.
I have two quick ones. Number one, when the Cardinals lost to the Boston Red Sox in the World Series, breaking the Babe Ruth curse on my Cardinals. And number two, going to combat sports, when Chael Sonnen was beating up Anderson Silva for 5 rounds, and then in the last 2 minutes, Anderson Silva wraps his legs around his head and submits him.
Ooh,
that ticked me off.
Okay, so the Red Sox one, that was when the most that controversial call happened with the Cardinals and the Red Sox, wasn't it? Like obstruction that wasn't, or interference that was, or whatever.
I don't remember, but
all right. So what about you, Shane?
And mine's always going to be the 2001 Daytona 500s. I can't go too much in on it because it hits close to home. So,
all right,
Earnhardt.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Matt. Let's go to you now. Look, it's okay. I know we're upset about the Atlanta Falcons one, but what other one sticks in your head
No. You know what? I've never talked about this. I've never come to grips with it since that paper day in 2016. So you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to come to grips with this. I need this. I need to do this. I need to do this.
So
we were up. I think Robert Alford, if I'm not mistaken, it was 21-3. Robert Alford picked Brady off for a pick six, and then Deion High stepped into the end zone.
Yep.
The city of Atlanta was in an uproar. You couldn't tell anybody anything. Social media was, it was crazy. It was a crazy night. Everybody was, we finally got one. We had a Super Bowl coming to the city. We finally had one. You guys don't understand what we had to deal with. You two over there, you Shane and Hank, you don't understand.
Matt knows what I'm talking about right here. Matt knows the symbol right here.
We had it.
What did you need to do, Matt?
And then the second half came. And we only ran the ball 3 times in the second half.
Did you see the interview, though? They said that, Robert Alford even came out and said they were already celebrating.
Let me finish, Brandon.
Get it off. Let's hear it.
Let me finish.
Do you need a shoulder to... Hey, you have like a sad song?
Let me finish. Devontae Freeman got benched, and Tevin Coleman was running the ball in the first half and was doing a darn good job. But then Tevin Coleman got hurt. And then that's when God intervened. The football gods intervened. That's when Julian Edelman made this crazy, ridiculous
insane catch.
Bobble catch. But
it was proven that Ant-Man actually helped catch that pass.
That's when we seen a crazy Julio Jones pass. That's when we stopped running the damn ball. And that's when Devontae Freeman whiffed on a block by Dante Hightower and strip sacked Matt Ryan.
Yep.
We all need
it. That was it.
Yeah.
We watched.
I appreciate you getting that off your chest, man, because I know that hurt.
I'm not done.
Go
and
ahead.
we watched. And we
screamed. How many TVs do you think were broken in the city of Atlanta that day, Matt?
I was at a party. We were all sitting there with our mouths gapped open. And there was one friend of mine, and I have him on the show one day. His name is Trevin. Knows just about as much of sports as you do, Brandon. I gotta introduce you guys. But he sat there the whole time, sitting in the background. He's the only one. I told you guys it was Tom Brady.
Oh my God!
I told you guys it was Tom Brady.
I'd be like, shut up.
One of those people in the background. I told you guys it was Tom Brady. I told you guys it was Tom Brady the whole time. And then we watched as an overtime. James White. They're running back.
Oh, here, next question, though. Why didn't Vic Beasley intercept that daggum pass in the end zone? Could have ended the possibility of them scoring in overtime a touchdown. Just saying.
You know what? It shouldn't have got to that point, Brandon. It shouldn't have got to that point. But at the same time, man, it's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking.
There's a good one right here.
That one's heartbreaking.
Ladies and gentlemen,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing the Sportz Nutz first edition of therapy session with all 4 of us. Having to get this off of our chest.
We're still disappointed.
So tell me. So can you guys just kind of help me get what am I supposed to do to forget this, man? I need to know what to do.
I want you to take the water. I want you to take the water hose.
Oh, man.
All right, I got one for you. Take the water hose and wash the sand out of your vagina. Just like the rest of us need to do.
Folks.
Oh, I'm having to do a lot of bleeping out lately, but it's okay.
Hank.
I get it, but you're used to dealing with teams in Tennessee, man, so you wouldn't understand.
This is true. We're terrible. We're terrible.
You wouldn't understand, man, at all.
Here's a good one though from Brian Pettit. Just said here, 2 years ago, when the Niners lost to the Chiefs, and Shane mentioned it too, the 2001 Daytona. God, that really blew my mind. I absolutely thought we're gonna pull the rabbit out, and they didn't.
No, the 2 that Trey said with Carolina, that
yes,
is home for me.
On YouTube,
so
I mean, you look at it from. I tried to look at it from Cam Newton's perspective about not jumping on that ball, but I mean, he had gotten to the ball anyway. I mean, Von Miller was on that thing.
He would have had to Clowney that thing if he.
I know that's what I'm saying. Wasn't that Von Miller right there? I mean, Von was on it. Von was on it, man. He was on it like white on rice, man. He was on it. Hey man,
Oh,
I don't know, man. I don't know what Cam could have done. I don't know what Cam could have done.
Cam should have dove on that ball.
But then
Yes,
the,
could have.
but the score was so. Look, I'm not trying. I usually don't take up for.
That made the difference in the game for the Super Bowl. That turned the momentum.
It was out of
The
reach.
absolute wrong
It was
way
a little
for
bit out
Carolina.
of control at the end of that game.
That blew
keeps talking.
Carolina's opportunity for momentum to shift.
but the Casey field goal miss was a big one.
Hey, didn't somebody say that too? The Casey field
Yeah,
goal?
yeah. They said them both together. Trey, I believe, said it.
Let's
And
see.
so, yeah, being a Carolina fan, Matt, I can, at least, the one with the Newton fumble, it's kind of a epic kind of deal, like, because they completely collapsed after that.
Yeah. Now, I see. I remember watching that Super Bowl, but I'm also remember that the Broncos had a crazy season that year. Peyton Manning came.
Yeah. Well, that whole year, 2016. Was ridiculous. Peyton Manning retired, winning the.
He rode off in the sunset.
Yep. And then the Bama Clemson deal, Cubs breaking the World Series curse. I forget. I believe I shared a picture with you guys. It's like 6 or 7 of them that happened in 2016 that were just kind of ridiculous. Oh yeah, the Cavs 3-1 comeback in the finals.
Yep, against
was
the
that
Warriors.
year
That's
too.
right. That's right.
I mean that
the block.
That's going to be probably 2016 might be labeled as one
The
of
greatest
the
sports year ever.
greatest sports years ever.
I agree. 2015 and 16 were some fantastic years.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wanted the Warriors to win. Everybody that loved the Warriors wanted the Warriors to win, and then so all those people they didn't make that come back.
Yeah, and so, pretty much took a giant what you call it in their cereal. It's just deuce. Yeah, deuce. Yeah, we'll say dung because dung's in the Bible.
Well, I gotta say that. We can just say deuce.
All right, so let's go to the next one. Shane's got a really cool couple. He wants to talk about something that I'm absolutely excited. And Shane, the first thing you better highlight is this team that is Cinderella, but then also I want you to talk about the training camps episode as well.
Oh yeah, well, what we're going to do is just do a quick little highlight of the College World Series that starts Friday. So we've got Coastal Carolina, Arizona, a 2016 World Series rematch final. So that kind of linked together pretty good. We see a couple teams that really shouldn't have got in. Murray State, as Brandon mentioned, has been a complete underdog Cinderella this whole season. As you mentioned, their facilities are in the bottom of the well here in college athletics. They have 800 people that come max capacity at their field. Their coach still mows the grass there, but they still made it, and they've hit, I think, like 8 home runs in the past 2 games, something like that. So there's 2 or 3 games. So it's going to be pretty good. And then, of course, we've got, as everybody wants to know, who's going to win the Jello shot war at Rocco's.
What?
LSU has got the record with 68,888 Jello shots sold in that one week of the College World Series. So now that they're back in it, we're interested to see where it goes again. We got a couple, OTA thoughts and stuff like that. Matt, I know you've been paying attention. You got anything on the Falcons for us?
Well, I've been kind of paying attention to a lot of teams, man, not just the Falcons. But
sorry, had a crying baby.
Yeah, kind of right. As far as the Falcons go, man, I mean,
you mean the 4 of us?
No, Aspen was upstairs crying.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man.
No, you're fine. You're fine, Hank. You're fine, Hank. I'm so sorry. I had a weak moment earlier, guys, but we're over that now. But yeah, man. We're just kind of interested to see what's going on, man. I know a lot of people haven't showed up to certain camps yet. Interested to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Interested to see, we were talking about the camps in Cleveland. Hearing good things about Shador, hearing bad things about Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel has been laying goose eggs, unfortunately.
Yeah. So and we all knew this was eventually going to happen. I mean, unbeknownst to Brandon, man, Shador Sanders is a day 1, day 2 talent. So, man, so he's playing as such. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that Cleveland quarterback room. It's just a lot of storylines in the NFL this year, man.
Yeah, there's actually one I got to mention. I'm glad you brought that up.
What are the Saints going to do? What are how bad are the Saints going to tank for Arch?
So you ready to hear this, Matt?
Yeah. Well,
this is according to a good friend of ours, actually. Brandon Link from 680 to the Fan said that Cleveland, Atlanta, and New Orleans have had this, and they're chirping pretty good. And there is a possibility we could see Kirk Cousins finally get his move. And oh man, wouldn't that be just like delightful?
I mean, I can't say that because Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He was okay before he got hurt. I mean, I would rather have him as a backup. I mean, he's the best backup in the league. There's no backup.
$20 million backup, by the way.
It could be $20 million. That's fine. If we trade him, we're going to have to pay that cap hit anyway. So might as well just keep him. Might as well just keep him.
Nobody's going to pick him up right now after that injury with that cap hit.
Well, you might as well keep the experience. Like Matt said, you're going to pay that cap anyway, so you might as well keep that experience, unless it makes your cap suffer to the point that you're going to get something potentially better, which I just don't see at this point in time. You've got Penix and
we've got when we're going to get out of free agency.
Penix is your future. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Present.
Yeah. All right, so real quickly, Hank, I know we're coming close on time, and I want you to really give us your thoughts on what I don't know if you've been keeping an eye up thoroughly with the College World Series, but I want to know your thoughts. Like, I mean, look, Brian Pettit just mentioned, what about Coastal Carolina? Coastal Carolina, man, they are doing something absolutely special right now. But what do you think, Hank?
I have no opinion on the matter because I haven't been able to keep up with it as closely as everybody else has. I've only been seeing the results on social media, so I will decline.
Okay. Same. All
right. So what I will tell you this, guys. Okay, Brian, everybody, I want to tell you this. We're tipping our caps. Absolutely, Coastal Carolina. They're doing everything special. Look, there's a gentleman by the name of Chris Phillips on SEC Unfiltered. Y'all may know who he is. He badmouthed Coastal, and then he ended up eating crow. He posted a video of himself looking like a clown, and he said Auburn was gonna manhandle Coastal Carolina, and it didn't come to fruition. Coastal Carolina is in Omaha, and Auburn is not. So shout out though to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I want to
go ahead.
I want to do one story too. If us not talking about the Coastal thing is big enough, just somebody to root for. Coastal Carolina, their coach's son was sick whenever they went to the College World Series last in 2016, and they actually won everything. Playing Arizona. Now he was I believe a third grader back then. Forget the condition he had or had seizures, so he wasn't able to fly out there and all. But now he's doing much better. And coincidentally enough, the way the good Lord works is it's first matchup Coastal Carolina versus Arizona, and his son's definitely going to make the trip, is what he said.
Hank, what were you doing? Taking a picture?
Hey man, Hank, it's okay. Hank, she's you don't have to get a picture to get her to believe you that you're doing a podcast right now.
Two reasons. Number one, two reasons. I just got a text message while we're on the air here, media credentials, and they needed a picture of me just now sitting in my studio. So I had to send that to him right now while we're on the air. It's like
you should have took a screenshot of the picture, cropped out your photo with the mic in front of you, and boom, sent that to her.
Yeah, but that's too complicated. I don't know how to do that.
Man, it's easy, bro. It's easy.
All right. So look, I don't know if we talked, but we're still looking for 8 more NFL teams to cover. For our training camps, training days with the Sportz Nutz. It is We are going to cover all 32 teams as Matt's doing it. We're going to cover all 32 teams of the NFL. We only need 8 more, and we have completed the entire tidbit of NFL teams. The teams that we need are the Washington Commanders, the Cleveland Browns, the LA Rams, the Denver Broncos, the Buffalo Bills, the New England Patriots, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we can fill up that sheet with your help. Look, we had a lot of people watch tonight. I hope we were able to get somebody who covers each of those teams. What we do is we do a 5 to 15-minute interview. We ask you 4 questions. It's the pros, the cons, the ups, the downs, expectations for the season. For the season, okay? And that's it. You can't get a chance. If you have your own podcast, great. If not, that's okay too. But if you do, we can actually tag on your audience to watch at that moment you're having an interview, and it gives you a chance to not only grow with our fan base, but grow with your fan base as well. Look, we're at 1,308 subscribers. Okay, so we have an absolute Brian. Send me a message, Brian. I'll talk to you because it's going to be a lot of fun. What we are going to do right now, all right. So like I said, we're at 32 teams. I'm gonna kind of run down with the teams that we have, okay, that we are covered with right now. Let me get to the list here. As you see, it's a long list. We have Atlanta, we have New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Carolina, we have Cincinnati, we have Indianapolis, Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Kansas City, Seattle, Chicago, Baltimore, the Chargers, the Jets, the Raiders, the Eagles, the Lions, the Cardinals, the Vikings, the Packers, the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Cowboys. So, Brian, if you'd like to talk to be a part of this for the San Francisco 49ers, send me a message on Facebook at the Sportz Nutz. I will be happy to talk with you, tell you, kind of give you a little more about it. We would absolutely love to get all 32 teams covered, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Shane and I were talking. We have it set up to start.
Last week of June, we're going to start. So that kind of gives us. We're going to go 6 weeks. We're going to have a couple episodes, 4 teams apiece, and then the rest will be 6 teams.
Here's the logo.
As you see the logo up in front of you, we're going to try to finish up by about that first or second preseason game. So kind of gives a great insight on what's coming for everything. And, look forward to everybody's input. And, of course, this will be kind of like our episode tomorrow, although our episode tomorrow is a special kind of time. But it'll be every Wednesday at 7:30 from the very last week in June. I don't necessarily know the date right off the top of my head, but we'll go 6 weeks from that point on.
We will have the schedule written up, like which teams, at what time we're going to have you come on. We will get your email lined up. We will send you the StreamYard link. You broadcast from there at your house. Tell us what those 4 things. And then Matt will try and create a quick short. He will try. There's no guarantee, but he will try to create a short. Just say, hey, you had the chance to come on and help us grow our audience. Our idea is to gain 5 more subscribers each team, if not 10, which would be equivalent to 320 additional subscribers. We can do it with your help. Remember, our year-end goal is 2,000 by that point. So let's get it going from there. Guys, we have had an absolute blast today. We had a great episode, a lot of interactions. Awesome. Brian, I will send me a message literally on Sportz Nutz on Facebook. I'll talk to you really about getting you on there. But guys, we had a great time, great interaction. Thank you to the people who watched. And I think we had like 320 people max out watching us almost literally the entire episode. We really do appreciate that. We will be back tomorrow, 7:30. Yes, we have a guest at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central. Calvin is he covers a lot for Oklahoma City, for Oklahoma State, Oklahoma City, everything. He's got a great following. We're going to have him come on. He's going to talk to us about them. We're going to have a little show continuation afterwards. It's going to be pretty good. We have a lot of good questions, a lot of good interaction expected. And then Friday, we do have the LSU Shreveport NAIA World Series, undefeated World Series champs coming on. The head coach will be joining us 7:30. Get your popcorn. It's going to be a fun episode on that one. All right, guys. So For everybody who has watched the show tonight, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. But Matt, what do you tell these lovely people, sir?
Guys, it's the middle of the week. Don't get flagged in the game of life. If you're gonna do something, do it at home. If you're gonna drink, do it at home. All the other things, do it at home. Play by the rules, and you'll be good. Don't get flagged.
Yeah, don't get flagged. Hank, what do you tell everybody, sir?
Man, you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us. But y'all stay prayed up. Give your life to God. Don't, no matter what your flaws are, put them in His hands, and He will correct them. So God bless you all, and y'all have a good evening.
And exactly, man. Shane, what do you tell everybody, sir?
Well, as always, man, it's been more than a pleasure. I hope everybody's able to join us for these next couple of episodes and ready for the new segments that we have coming up this summer, this fall. As always, peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease, indeed, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. This summer is going to be epic proportions. As I always tell you, peace up, A-Town down why. It's the greatest sports city that ever was. Guys, you'll have a wonderful evening. I know I said we'd have a new outro, but weather did play a role in Matt. That's why he is not at home, because the weather did knock his power out of his house. But we will have the new outro video up. But until then, enjoy this outro, and you guys have an absolute wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Peace, homies.